Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to start a new series here. It's going to be called Exploring Watercolor, and I feel like this would be a fun series to do to see how far I come in watercolor. I'm not very experienced in watercolor. I would say I'm definitely towards the end of beginner-ish, definitely not intermediate. I feel like, though, I have an understanding of layering at least. I have watched some videos, I have practiced some. This is like my first sketch drawn with this and starting the watercolor. So I quickly kind of time lapsed a sketch so we didn't take too much time. And here I am just layering down water because I decided I was like, well, I know wet on wet's going to be a little bit easier for what I want to do. So basically, I just lightly dampen the area of where we're going to start painting. And I have my colors already sorted on this little cute um, little tray there. And I decided I do slow this down a little bit at times, but otherwise we're kind of going to be at this speed throughout most of this video. I just didn't want it to be over an hour long. I didn't really want to have it take too much time to render, but at least I did it. So once I started to get this color on, I really got some really good inspiration as to kind of how in my head this fox was going to turn out. So some of the colors I'm using, I'm pretty sure, well, the brand is just Master's Touch. So I kind of want to stick with just very simple, what maybe some of you may have or have the ability to get, which is, Hobby Lobby or whatever you have access to. Master's Touch, I feel like, is a good beginner starter, kind of figuring out how to do things on a budget without spending $100, $300 on really good watercolor paints. So with that being said, I put my first layer down here, and then I'm pretty sure I speed it up just a little bit because we start uh, doing all sorts of different I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing. Honestly, this is the first episode. It's not like the colored pencils where I'm really well versed in. So I do know, I'm like, well, I know a general idea of how I'm going to do the first, so I start kind of like stippling, I guess you could call it. I'm just blobbing in some color. Some of you might kind of be in the same situation where, like, we kind of know what we're doing, we kind of don't know what we're doing. I am by no means an expert in watercolor, but I hope maybe along this journey we all learn something together. You might even have some helpful tips and tricks yourself. If you guys want to leave that down in the comments, that would actually be really great. Sometimes I watch videos and of other people watercoloring, but it's not, I don't know. I always try to be like, okay, I'm going to be like kind of abstract with this, and my brain just can't function abstract. And I'm like, well, it's supposed to kind of look like this, and I want it to look like that. Like, I want to kind of recreate it, but kind of in my own way. So that's what I'm doing here. I really wanted to stick a little bit more orange. I actually printed the picture off in black and white so that I didn't get so caught up in matching colors versus just letting the color inspiration come to me. So that's probably how I'm going to do most of these, unless I really want to sit down and do a hyper realistic watercolor drawing, which probably won't happen for a while. And honestly, I was getting through this. I was like, oh my gosh, I could totally do like someone's like little dog or something and like practice that. But this fox was a really good, I feel like, a starting point for me into realizing how much I actually enjoy doing watercolor. It was fun not to get out a colored pencil and sit there and dwindle away. Even though I do enjoy dwindling away on my colored pencils, this was fun. This was a nice change of pace. The only difficult part, I think, was making sure I didn't go too crazy, and that I have realized through some of this, I should have let some of the areas dry a little bit more. But in my head, I guess I just really wanted to get this done within an hour, hour and a half. I didn't want to take this up like my whole day like schedule. Like when I do my colored pencil drawing, like I set a time limit because all of a sudden 3 4 hours can go by and I don't even realize it. And most of the time I'm recording anyway, so my camera dies within an hour-ish, give or take, because I don't have it like plugged in. I don't like to do that. I just like to charge the battery. And I have two batteries, so I kind of interchange them. So I can do 2 hours at a time. But it's just so I don't sit there endlessly and like it's like there's other things to do I need to do. Um, and I just don't want to all of a sudden, you know how like if you're playing a game or something. But besides the point, okay, so this is where I start to use some more purpley color, and that brings in, I just know that that purple from my colored pencil experience brings in a lot of richness, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring a little bit more richness and depth to the fox. And you can see that that stippling, so I kind of had a bigger brush, and then once it slightly kind of dries out a little bit or it kind of fans out, it already makes this cute, simple, like little fuzzy look, fur look. And you kind of just like dab it, just gently, dab, 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 along, like in the direction that the fur is going. And it just gives the illusion that that's fur. And I hope that I created that, or it looks like it did. The only thing I think I did struggle with, but I tried not to really hammer away too much, was that ear. There was like so much detail. My brain was trying to like, no, it's supposed to be like this and this, and it's like the watercolor just wasn't doing what my brain thought it was. So I ended up kind of just letting it, just whatever it ended up being is what it ended up being, and just not getting so hung up in it, and just being proud that I actually sat down and did this, because I was thinking about doing this for like 2, 3 weeks, and I just been really stressed out, and I really needed to sit down and do this, and I'm really glad I did. So anyone out there that's procrastinating, just sit down and get it done, because you're going to feel really good afterwards. Now, when we get towards the end here, you'll kind of see what I did with the white. It was actually kind of cool. When I opened up my white, I had a little bit of light blue on there, so it kind of worked out because I needed that light blue at some point. So I was like already pre-mixed for me. But you can see I'm starting to kind of get some more fuzzies in here. I definitely, uh, I'm not, I should have taped this, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I ended up kind of twisting and turning the paper as needed. Um, and it dried pretty flat. So I wasn't too worried. But if I was doing like a larger one, I definitely would be more cautious um, of that buckling. So that's probably one of the major things I think is going to be a challenge for me, is getting the paper to not buckle. I need to do some research on that. Other than taping it, I wonder if I've seen some people where they will wet the whole paper, tape it, and let it sit and dry completely dry, and then go back on. So like the paper's already warped, configured, and then it flattens out, and it's ready then to up like withhold or uphold sustain the watercolor a bit better. Though I do just say there's probably better watercolor people out there. I'm pretty sure I'm using Master's Fine Touch watercolor paper with the little birdies on it, the little squares. I just think those would be perfect just for uh, some quick watercolor paintings. Sorry, we're painting. I will have a link at least, or a description of where I got the fox picture. I believe I got off of photo stock. I did pay to download it, so that is why I do not have it like a picture up on my screen or anywhere visible, because it was a paid picture that I bought. So if you guys want to use that picture, you can go on, or you can kind of eyeball it from what I've drawn. But like if you're trying to do a little bit more realism and more color matching, you can go on and get that. So I'll have that in the description below. And credit due for that photographer or creator of that picture. So I do not own that picture, but I did buy the rights to use that picture. Now I'm putting the final touches in on the ear, and I at this point I feel pretty proud of myself getting this far. And I do remember, I think I slowed it down here so we can kind of see what I'm doing. I do have a dry brush. I do remember kind of watching some people use dry brushes, and I kind of got the ears to be just because I wanted that kind of fuzzy like look at, and so I did a little bit of dry brushing at the top so you get a little bit more fuzzy. And I'm sorry if my camera's shaking a little bit. This is like the first time I trusted my uh little thing setup I got to hold my camera over my desk here, because usually I have it kind of angled because I work on a canvas, not a canvas, but an easel for my colored pencils, because that's how I like to work, just kind of sitting up and drawing. But this time I needed it flat because I didn't want the water to run down and make pools, right? So uh, that was another challenge, but I figured it out, and I figured out that I can screw my camera on without having to twist my camera around the end of the thing. Besides me going off on a tangent, I am going to start doing the eye here in just a minute, but you can really see how some of that purpley color brings some depth into the fox. And I think at this point, I started to kind of realize, I was like, okay, am I doing too much? Like, like, I was trying to think, what is it that I need to do to feel kind of complete with this first watercolor drawing I'm doing? And I kept telling myself that this is your first sit down, really thought out watercolor animal that is on this paper that you have sketched onto, and you're going to put it on YouTube. And do you feel satisfied? Not quite yet, but in, like, let's say a couple months from now, if we revisit this fox and try again, would we see improvement? Probably. Most more than likely. Or maybe a different slightly style. So I just knew that I was getting to the I'm kind of feeling finished phase. Oh, okay. So for the eye, I put a white blob down first, and then I kind of let that dry with the pupil slit, like the little slit that they got, kind of like a cat's eye. And uh, I kind of go back in, add some fuzzies with my dry with some white, kind of just making it look a little bit more fuzzy. And I go in and waiting for my self to start paint. I must be doing some. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna add some shadow and some different colors around the eye so that it's not just like popping out. And this is real time, so you're seeing me do this in real time. I decided to kind of slow this down because I feel like if I sped through this all of a sudden, it'd be like, whoa, what did you do? And this just reminds me of the colored pencil. I was like, this is just like what colored pencil, sort of, except you can blend with your fingers and stuff. And but see, now we're getting depth, and I was like, at this point, I was like, wow. Other than the one ear there, I still couldn't figure it out. But we're just gonna leave it. I was starting to get like this. Oh, we're like almost like I feel done. We just gotta add the whiskers, and that's it. So again, if anyone kind of has any advice, or if there's like anything that you guys are like, wow, this really helped me, that would actually be greatly appreciated, because I'm kind of learning alongside with anybody. But if you found this helpful in any way, I'm sorry I couldn't give too much of an explanation because I kind of just was winging it. Um, but I know I didn't use any yellows, but I had orange, I had a burnt sienna, I had a dark an umber color. I had black, white, and violet, and then I put a hint of green in the eye, and that was about it. I didn't use too many colors. I didn't want this to be too crazy. And I did use, I believe these are Master's Fine Touch watercolor paintbrushes. So again, just kind of sticking like really simple with supplies. I don't like to go too crazy. Um, but I felt pretty proud of myself finishing this. So just keep looking out for some more videos. I'm not sure how often I'm going to be doing these, but I doing this made me pretty excited to continue this watercolor series. So let me know what you guys think down below, and we're about finished here. We're getting ready to just kind of line the lips a little bit more, and then I'm gonna sign it. But otherwise, I'm finished with this fox. So there it is. And then I'm gonna get my pen and we're gonna sign. Typically my signature is just CJ with the year. I've never written out my full name. Even through junior high, high school, I think I've did it once and I was like, that's stupid. I'm just gonna do CJ. That's it. Easy peasy 2024. And that's it. I've always signed like that. So thank you guys for watching. Oh, we're gonna hit. I am kind of watching this back. I've edited this video. I'm kind of watching it back, and I'm not used to slow videos. I usually do the time lapse, and by this time the video would have been done. So, all right, we're I think officially finished just lining it up there. Isn't that cute? He's like looking like, what's out there? What is it? I think next time maybe I do a background. We're gonna start small, right? Anyway, thank you guys. I'll catch you on the next one.